Hey gang, JC here, and this is the Daily Dose for Monday, August 1st, 2011, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. Terrific television archives, top of the page, the Wayback Machine and the Video Village, and of course JC's Eye Candy right below that. And down at the bottom we've got Sexually Speaking with Dr. Kathy Naughton. We update every Monday and Thursday, so that means there's news stories about sex and couples and stuff like that. We update every Monday and Thursday, Sexually Speaking with Dr. Kathy Naughton. And in the corner, our rock and roll poll question, which on Friday was, given the fact that today marks the 30th anniversary of MTV, which of these statements best sums up your feelings about it? Number one answer, with 67%, it seems dumb that they stopped playing music videos. I love that. Second most popular answer, it'll always be remembered as a tremendous force in music and pop culture. That's at 22%. 6% of you thought that it put too much emphasis on video and not enough on the music of that era. And 4% thought that the whole thing seems a little silly looking back. All right, so we may have some sort of a settlement here between the Democrats and the Republicans and the goofy Tea Party people on the debt ceiling being raised. So that actually brings up a very interesting question that I've been thinking about asking for a long time in today's As Good a Day as Any. Do congressmen and senators, when they go to Washington, do they vote the way their constituents want them to vote, or do they vote the way they want to vote? A or B? Constituents or personal views? Rock and roll poll question. Please answer over there, and we'll give you the results tomorrow here on the Daily Dose. All right. Almost half of Americans polled by 60 Minutes and Vanity Fair believe there is no difference in world safety pre and post 9/11. Coming up to the 10-year anniversary of 9/11 in about 5 weeks. Most Americans have not been to a psychiatrist or therapist, and more than half of Americans polled feel the United States should authorize cyber attacks when necessary. One other funny thing in this poll, they asked people who Pippa Middleton was, and 52% don't know that she is the sister of Prince William, and 2% thought that she was an adult film star. I love that too. 60 Minutes Vanity Fair. All right, did a little hanging around down at the ballpark on Friday. Was down to the field hanging out. Chuck Berry, that's our eye candy picture today, but I'll get to that in a minute. But I'll tell you, I've got high definition TVs all over the place, and I've always felt that the high def cameras really give you an opportunity to see things, particularly in sports, that you never got a chance to see before. The rotation of the baseball, the grip that a pitcher uses on a ball, and just all sorts of stuff like that. And I've been pretty happy with the resolution in the high definition picture. Well, I changed my mind at least a little bit, because I was down at the ballpark, and you go up to the press box and look down at the field, and you could not believe how chewed up that field was from that U2 concert. And those poor guys are trying to lay sod on top of hot sand, basically, in 100-degree heat, where the heat index was like 115, and it hasn't rained, by the way. So you can't blame them, but it seems like a screwy idea still that they chewed up the baseball field. That field is in terrible condition. I'll go so far as to say, in 27 years, it's the worst I've ever seen Busch Stadium, the old one or the new one, be in for a baseball game. And you're not seeing that unless you're at the baseball game. But boy, you could see it on Friday night, and you don't see it on your high-definition TV. Kings of Leon walked off another concert in Dallas on Friday night. Guy said he was too hot. This is very interesting because you go back to the show at the Verizon Wireless Amphitheater here in St. Louis a little over a year ago, and they said that they were getting pooped on by pigeons. These guys are going to get a reputation here. The Octomom, Nadia Suleiman, says that she was drugged when her fertility doctor made her sign the consent form that allowed him to implant 12 embryos in her uterus. That's right, and Bristol Palin was drunk when she got knocked up by, what's his name? National average price for a movie ticket is $8.06. That's an all-time high, up 2.15% or 17 cents on the average for 2010, which was about $7.89. And it ain't coming back down either. Plaxico Burress got off his 20-month prison sentence and signed with the New York Jets. A lot of speculation that maybe he was going to come to the Rams. Donald Trump says there's still a chance he might run for president. He says there's so many people that want him to do it. Yes, Letterman and Leno and Jimmy Kimmel and Conan O'Brien and Bill Maher and Craig Ferguson, just to name a few. I'm going to skip that. New study ranked the top 10 vacation spots where people gain the most weight, and you'll never guess what's number one. The good old US of A. Average tourist gains 8 pounds in a 2-week trip to the United States. The Caribbean came in second. This is pretty ridiculous. Last week in London, both Harrods and Selfridges department stores busted out their Christmas stuff. They say that there's a lot of tourists out there and they want to buy for Christmas. And according to a nationwide survey by Visa, the Tooth Fairy payments are down 40 cents this year. You know the economy's messed up when the Tooth Fairy is cutting back. Last June, a man in New York bit into a piece of Pizza Hut pizza and got a mouthful of a used bloody bandage. So he started contacting the company. He says, I'm not trying to sue you or anything. I just want to make sure, I want you to pay for my medical costs to make sure I don't have something. And Pizza Hut stopped returning his calls, and now it's really heating up. In the Bronx, in New York, the media has found out that a principal of a local private Catholic school with mostly black and Hispanic students writes for a white supremacist publication. School said they knew about it when they hired him, and they didn't see any issue with that. Animal shelter in England is having trouble finding somebody to adopt a stray kitten. That's because the kitten looks exactly like Hitler. They have nicknamed the kitten Kittler, and you can see it on our Facebook page, The Showgram with J.C. Corcoran on Facebook. Check that out. And I'm not kidding you. It's not like they put shoe polish on this cat or anything either. This is what the cat looks like. They swear up and down they didn't do anything to this cat. And it looks exactly like Hitler. Go to The Showgram with J.C. Corcoran on Facebook, and you'll see that cat. I stopped drinking beer. I cut back on my beer by about 98%. Over the course of the last year or so. Just lots of reasons why, but I stopped drinking beer, and apparently I'm not alone. Beer's popularity has dropped to its lowest point in 20 years in the United States. 36% said the alcoholic beverages they drink most often, still beer, but wine came in just a point behind at 35%. Prevention magazine says there are 5 foods that you should never eat. Here they are. Canned tomatoes. They say there's something in the acid of the tomato that picks up the BPA, which is the inside the liner of the can, and it absorbs it in there. That can kill you. Corn-fed beef, microwave popcorn. There's chemicals in the lining of the bag that might cause infertility issues. Non-organic potatoes and milk made using artificial hormones. The 21-year-old daughter of Al Pacino was arrested for drunk driving in New York City over the weekend. Pacino says he hasn't been this embarrassed since The Godfather 3. And Friday night, Lindsay Lohan and Paris Hilton had dinner together in Los Angeles. Afterwards, the two burst into an enormous chlamydia supernova. All right, as we said, it was on this date in 1981 that MTV launched in an estimated 2 million homes. It started off with the words, ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll. Of course, the Buggles' Video Killed the Radio Star was the first video they played. Best all-time video, as we said on Friday, Take On Me by A-ha. Runaway. Nobody's even close. All right, so down on the field on Friday evening, just sort of hanging out with Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry, for some reason, has always greeted me with laughter. He thinks I'm really funny or something, and he just gets this big smile, and he hugs me, and then he gives me this look like this, like, what are you up to? You know, I don't know what it is. Chuck just gets a kick out of me, and I love that. So he's 84 years old. Threw out the first pitch, and got a great photograph of Chuck right below me. I gotta tell you, when I, tell my friends in other cities, in Chicago or, Buffalo, New York, where I worked about 27 and a half years ago, you start telling them that you know Chuck Berry. They don't care about Tom Hanks or Steven Spielberg or, some of the famous comedians or whatever, David Letterman. They don't care that those people might know you or that you have had an opportunity to meet him or whatever. You tell them Chuck Berry, and they just stop dead in their tracks. It is unbelievable. This guy has got juice all over the United States of America. So check out that picture. Okay, again, our rock and roll poll question today. What are those congressmen and senators doing in Washington when they vote? Are they voting to reflect the wishes of their constituents, or are they voting to satisfy their own personal interests? Please answer down in the corner, and we have answers for you tomorrow. And, of course, Trish and I are on the air every day from noon until 3 on the Big 550 KTRS. That's it. JC's Daily Dose for Monday, August 1st. Summer's coming to an end. JC's sad. 2011, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. In the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later.